Welcome back to Coffee with Cadro, where we speak to trailblazers, founders and entrepreneurs and listen to their stories and how they got there. Today I'm joined by Craig Logan, a true legend of the music industry. He first rose to fame as one-third of Bros, the 80s pop sensation that sold over 16 million records and left an undeniable mark on global pop culture. Since then, he's built a remarkable career behind the scenes, becoming one of the most respected executives in music. He's worked with a generation of icons: Beyoncé, Tina Turner, Robbie Williams, Dido, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and recently reunited with Pink. This isn't just a music story, it's a story of entrepreneurship and resilience. From boy band to boardroom, the business of doing good. Craig Logan, welcome to Coffee with Cadro.
God, has it been 40 years?
Yeah. Craig, what music shaped you when you were growing up? Was there a particular type of music?
There was. Actually, I was a rock fan. I used to collect vinyl special editions of AC/DC, Black Sabbath, those types of bands. And I was absolutely obsessed with it. Music started early, and then I flipped around different genres. I was then into ska with the Specials, and then Nick Kershaw, and then I guess the pop world kind of beckoned.
So when did it actually shift from passion to profession?
So I always count the day that I joined the business as a professional as the 8th of April 1987. And that was the day that we signed to CBS Records in our band. Once the three of us got together in the band Bros, we spent a few years rehearsing, trying to put it all together. After we got turned down by every label that said, you guys, don't give up your day job, which actually we didn't have at that particular point. It was, okay, that April the 8th, and that was it.
So fame at such an early age, it's almost like being handed a Ferrari before you've passed your driving test. How did that affect you, and how did you cope with the pressures associated with that? You probably couldn't leave the house or couldn't walk around in public. I mean, was it that invasive?
It was massively invasive, and listen, I wouldn't change any of it because it's actually why I'm sitting here today. But for 17 and 18-year-old guys to just be launched into that, you got no real training. You're just kind of like, right, here you go, and you just couldn't walk around. It was absolutely madness. And I think by the time I was 19 and I'd left the band, I realized I hadn't walked in the street on my own for 2 years.
Wow.
It was exciting and scary all at the same time. For example, we did a signing in Oxford Street for the album, and they shut down Oxford Street at HMV. We had one of those big old Daimler limousines that they used to use for funerals, right? And we turned up in that, and that was all the rage at that particular time, and turned up in that, but we left in the back of an ambulance, but a bit hiding in the back of an ambulance. And the kids actually ripped this, they ripped the door off this Daimler limousine trying to get in.
Wow. Was there one defining moment where you realised how big it had actually become?
I think probably when we turned up in Australia, and we went to do, we were obviously very big in the UK at that point, and I remember flying to Australia, and there were just thousands of kids all around the airport, but you could see them from the plane, and that, which you don't see that nowadays. That was a bit like, wow. Wow, okay.
So on leaving the band and the legal battle that followed, was this your first exposure to the business side of the industry? I
kind of made a decision. I wasn't very well when I left the band, and I was in the Lister Hospital for a few weeks, and I kind of had a bit of a breakdown, really. And I remember I had Mel and Kim sitting with me, and Kim was my partner, Kim Appleby was my partner at the time, and I just said to them, and I knew I was going to be fine, and Mel was struggling with cancer, And I was like, I'm leaving the band. They were like, don't be hasty, don't be hasty. And I was like, no, I've decided that's what I'm going to do. And then actually Kim and I, it was Kim really, she said to me one day, she said, you should be my manager. And I was like, okay, I'm 20 years old now at this point. That's a really stupid idea. I'm a bass player from this funny pop band. I'm 20 years old and I'm your boyfriend. Your label are going to go insane. They just think, oh my God, you know, she was a big priority for them. I said, I'll do it until I find somebody else. And then Kim just decided she'd had enough. So I was like, okay, well, if you've had enough, I probably need to get a job. And that's where I ended up at EMI International. But the legal wranglings in hindsight were brilliant because, well, not only, you know, did we win, but it really taught me a lesson. It really opened my eyes up to the business side. So even today, I love the creative side. That's where I come from. I love the creative side, but I love the business side. And to be honest, I have to have a little bit of both.
Yeah. So did you feel that you understood artists differently because you'd actually been one?
So it all came about with a conversation that I had with a guy called Paul Russell, who was the chairman of CBS at the time, CBS Sony. And he actually said to me, and he gave me the best bit of advice that literally shaped my career. He said, Craig, if you want to get involved in the business side or the other side of the business, you should do as many different things as you can. So you understand how the left hand and the right hand work together. Once you know that, he said, you'll be able to navigate your way through very smoothly. Which actually, to be honest, was probably, without me even really realizing it, shaped my career. From when I was offered the EMI job at International, I was also offered a job at Jive to be the general manager of Silvertone Records. And that was more of an A&R job. My friends were all artists, songwriters, producers. I kind of knew what that meant. Didn't mean that I'd have success at it, but I knew what that job was. I had no idea what EMI International was. And I thought, and it was half the money as well, but I'll do that because I don't know anything about it. Wow. And I'll go in and learn. And I guess what I did is I started asking all the right and wrong questions. Mm-hmm. So out of naivety and just kind of going, well, why do you do it like that? Well, most people would go, well, because we've always done it like that. Well, that doesn't make any sense. We should do it like this. Within 6 months, I was the marketing director of EMI International, and by 10 months, I was running it.
So a lot of people in an executive position at some of these labels could have probably just sat back and continued their career like that. But you were obviously still striving for more and being more entrepreneurial and launching this new business. So what was the main drive? What was the driving force that kept pushing you forward?
I guess the thing is that the further you go up the chain with some of the, within major companies and stuff, the furthest you can often get away from actually what you love doing, which is working with artists, developing artists, and seeing things really grow on a much more basic level, I remember when I was at EMI International and I'm sitting in my big corner office and I was looking at artists down one side and territories across the top, and I'm filling in numbers for various different artists. And then I was like, how did I get here? And I put the bit of paper down and I went into my boss's office and just went, I think I'm done. And he was like, are you feeling okay? And I was like, oh no, I'm feeling fine, but I think I'm done. I've had moments in my career where I've kind of left at the height of something, whether it was the band, whether it was EMI International, whether it was RCA, and just gone, or actually, managing. And but I think you have to bet on yourself, and especially as as an entrepreneur.
What sparked the idea for launching LME?
The business started to shift. Years ago it used to be, you'd have a manager running around with a mobile phone and, maybe an assistant in an office somewhere, but that was really it. And actually, as, the delivery methods of records were changing, and suddenly, you move from CDs to downloads to streaming, you know, whatever else. You start looking at it and going, there's a different skill set here. And I think ultimately, to service an artist properly, you need a team. There was one particular meeting I went to, it was at Warner's, and I came out of the meeting slightly frustrated, and I was just like, you know what we need to do is create routes to market. So actually that was when I was just like, I need to create a menu of things that I can provide for an artist. Now, whether that's putting a record out, publishing, sync, tour, merch, VIP experiences, whatever it is, I need to create that.
Does artist manager loyalty still mean something? Is it still relevant in the business today?
To me it is.
Yeah.
It's still massively important. And actually, and whether that is the team that I work with, many of them have worked with me for many, many years. The artists I work with, many of them have worked with me for many, many years. Anastacia, I've managed for 15 years. Dido, I've managed for 15 years. Pink, I've been in and out of for 25 years. You know, these things are huge, you know, and it's all about trust. It's all about a relationship. And that will always be important to me.
Yeah. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced going into the business side of the industry?
I guess the challenge at the beginning of setting up any company is just getting your cash flow going, you know, and with artists, you know, you've got to kind of create your version of a catalog. So, you know, your catalog, you're getting paid on, you know, monthly, quarterly, you know, yearly, whatever it is, right? But you can rely on those residuals coming in. When you start a new business, you have none of that. You are going from deal to deal. And I guess the satisfying thing has been over the years is that I've created with the team our catalogue.
What would you have said to a 19-year-old Craig Logan?
Be brave, follow your heart, and don't follow the money.
Which is pretty much
what I did.
A 19-year-old Craig Logan did.
Yeah.
So your passion is still unwavering. What keeps you motivated now?
I think it's a combo, you know, it's like, because, you know, but I love working with artists. That's never going to change, because somewhere deep inside I am one, right? Maybe not a very good one, but you know, but I am one. That's where I started. There's nothing better than seeing things grow, seeing things change. You know, there's been so many records I've been involved in through the years, and you know, and at Sony, it's like some of those, you know, some of the records we used to put out, you know, it's like at that time that we were in, you know, even though I was just involved in a bit of them, you know, but whether it's a Justin Timberlake Sexy Back, or, you know, it's Beyoncé Single Ladies, or Alicia Keys Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive CV. It feels like you've done it all, but also it feels like you're just getting started.
That's exactly right. I've done a lot, I know that, but there's so much more to do. People often say, oh, you know, when do you think you'll retire? I don't think I'll ever retire. Because I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs ever retire, because I think if you've got that as part of your psyche,
yeah,
you have, you know, just an internal drive that you can do nothing about.
So now, Craig, we go into what's called the quick fire round. 60 seconds, Craig Logan, answer first thing that comes into your head. You ready?
Go.
One artist you wish you'd worked with. Dead or alive?
None.
What's the best gig you've ever been to?
Pink at Met Stadium.
Oh, when was that?
Last year.
Oh, right, amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the best bit of advice you've ever received?
Paul Russell, CBS,
Yeah.
1989.
Yeah. And who would play you in a biopic of your life story?
Oh God.
It's got to be Scottish, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't exactly sound Scottish though, do I? Yeah. hardly going to be Sean Connery or something like that.
That's a hard one, actually.
Yeah, that's
isn't
a hard one.
Okay, we might have to leave
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
What's more stressful, performing or managing?
Performing, without a doubt.
Okay. What one piece of advice would you give to young entrepreneurs, not just coming into this industry, but any industry?
I think definitely be brave, be bold, but don't take yourself too seriously. I think at the end of the day, unless you're a neurosurgeon, you know, because it is stressful, and you know, regardless of what business you're in, it's building a business is tough, and it will always be much harder than you often think, and will take a little longer than you always think, and but you've got to see the humour in it. You've got to have fun with it, and just keep going. No is not an answer, you know.
Craig, your story is an inspiration. It's a reminder that success can come from doing things the right way. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you. Thanks again, Craig.
No, thank you.